What is up, viewers? Spang here, bringing you yet another World of Kings gameplay commentary. This is going to be a second commentary I'm doing while my eyes are recovering, so if you see me pulling up this tab a bit to try and see what's going on, that's just because my vision isn't quite healed up just yet, but I am also sick and tired of laying around. I also can't read that game chat right now, so it looks like we are having a little bit of platoon chat, a little bit of strategizing between Never Aim here and his teammates. Oh, Minozv, who I used to refer to as Minnow. It's, wow, a commentary from basically on both these guys, two old-time viewers who have sent me in quite a few replays. So I'm kind of happy to see these two teaming up, doing a platoon. Now, we do have Never Aim. Sorry, forgive me for being a little cloudy at the moment, but I also am still trying to be as productive as possible. Taking some good guesses, let's refer to it as that. Good blind fires at spots where enemy tanks do like to go, medium tanks and light tanks like to go to spot. It's obviously going to be a tier 10 match considering the STB-1 is a tier 10 medium tank. Very soft in its hull, even soft in its turret, but that angling of its turret really does help it to bounce. You know, it's a very solid medium tank as well as the Object 140 that Minnow is driving. And it's going to be interesting considering they're both mediums, and this is a map that doesn't really play too well to the strength of medium tanks. It's really hard to get those flanks and use the open terrain that medium tanks like to use and have, since there really is none. A lot of times you'll see mediums going in the center, like right now you see that medium tank, as well as that Waffenträger, otherwise known as the Waffle Monster or the Frankenwaffle, whatever you want to refer to it as, but it is a force to be reckoned with. But it does look like he's been tracked, and that may be the death of him. He looks like, oh wow, his ally pulling out to try and take the hits for him to make him survive a little bit longer, but that 50B just not able to do it. Or is that a 50B? I can't tell if that's a 50B or a 5120. Again, vision, not that great. All you need to know is it's a high tier French autoloader, and it's probably not going to live much longer either. He's probably going to join his Waffle Monster ally here very shortly, but the enemy team managing to take out a tank as well, looking like it was that E50M, so a high tier loss and something you really don't like to see early on. But hey, I think it's an even trade for a Waffle Monster finally going to the city after taking more than useful shots on the center, definitely making himself, you know, he was making a you'll never know until the end of the match whether or not a decision was a good one, but certainly it wasn't a bad call by any stretch. Right there, getting another free shot off on what looked like one of those fancy glass cannon TDs that, ooh, yes, ISU 152, no longer a factor either. So it's 2-1 so far, a pretty even lead. 3-1, there we go. That's the comfortable lead that we like to see. And right here, just two medium tanks chilling in the city with a bunch of heavies, right? Nothing too out of the ordinary. Got two E100s. One of them nearly dead, but it looks like that IS-8, what looks like an IS-8 to me anyway. There's going to be a lot of speculation on what tanks are and what they probably really are due to my lack of vision. But all I know is it looks like an IS-8, it looks like it was probably hitting like an IS-8, and that looks like a T-57 heavy tank trying to get some side shots off, but probably going to cost him his life. That's definitely a T-57, and he's certainly not getting away without a few more hit points of loss. There we go, another shot, another solid hit. It looks like Minnow looking to get another hit on him as well, and he might die here if he can't back up. Oh, still tracked, and it is his death. So the enemy team looking like they're pretty decisively losing city. Valley really not doing much at all, which that's usually like what you like to see. If your team has sent a lot to the city, which is usually the case. Oh, come on, buddy, don't block your ally. Never Aim. I'm sorry, buddy, but that was your fault. Your E100 would possibly still be alive if it wasn't for you blocking him. That was a bad move. You always need to be aware of where your teammates are, and you have to give them an avenue to retreat. If you get you get behind them and they really need to back up, chances are pretty good you're going to be pissing someone off, because I have to say, right there in that situation, you were just positioned very poorly. Again, having that team situational awareness of, you know, what your allies are doing, you really need to be able to allow them to move and maneuver. And honestly, that E100 kind of did pull out in a very bad position, so his death isn't totally on your head. But at the same time, you certainly didn't help matters when he was trying to pull back. But anyway, digressing from that, you know, mistakes are made every now and again. We all do them, even the best of us. So right now, he's taking notice of this medium tank trying to push up the center and possibly going to be able to kill that tank destroyer. Yes, he will. So that medium tank, it looks like, it looks Russian, probably T-62A or Object 140. Moving to get on the base capture, and wisely so. I mean, the difference between teams isn't that great so far, 7-8, and it looks like Minno's choosing to stay in the city, try and finish off what is there. Another enemy tank getting eliminated just in that position, and it looks like Never Aim getting spotted. He knows something's in the center trying to take shots on him. Perhaps that French, yes, there it is. It's that French tank, and it was a 5120. I'm able to see that now. So not quite as large of a threat as a 50B, but still something to be taken into consideration. The enemy team really trying their best to pull this victory out, and it is a well-fought battle between both of them. It's like a T-34 or a T-30, definitely a T-34. Moving up that sideline, but I'm not quite sure that's a good call. And the enemy 5120 barely surviving. Luck of the roll just favoring him. RNG's choosing to allow him to live a little bit longer, and his team in Valley completely getting decimated. The enemy team probably going to be moving on their cap very shortly, and he's doing his best to abuse his turret armor by taking these hills and expose the one part of his tank that is almost has the best chance of bouncing. I was going to say almost sure to bounce, but that's definitely not the case. Minnow also falling back, so a good bit of team support, and this Object definitely looking like he's trying to push up cautiously and wait for a bit of team support here. It looks like an enemy T-110E4, but those are very soft in that little hatch, exactly where you saw him shoot, as well as pretty much everywhere else, but that's a good, solid, reliable place to shoot, to try and pen. And right here, he's trying to juke that shot. He's trying to bait that E4 to taking a shot at something that he probably won't hit. And just a little word of advice, you can also shoot to the cheeks of the T-110E4 to either side of that gun mantle. It looks like you have a 215 Bravo here as well, and Never Aim's team definitely doing their job of pulling ahead. Him and his ally here, Minnow, doing a good job of holding their base and preventing this enemy cap. Really the one thing stopping their team from a complete loss at this point, but they also have to be very cautious. They're getting flanked on from the rear, and they are well aware of that tank moving up the center. It's just not much they can do about it right now other than try and eliminate this enemy team. That 215 Bravo still having quite a bit of health, a very uncomfortable amount of health, and that enemy team really trying to finish this quickly before they lose any more vehicles, because they are suffering a severe tank disadvantage right now. It is 12-9, and unless they can pull off some sort of hat trick, take out quite a bit of the opposing forces, Never Aim's team, they really don't have much of a chance. This 215 Bravo really just showing that he has almost no skill in that vehicle whatsoever. Pulling out his front like that and being just perma-tracked as him, as Never Aim and Minnow continuously take shots at his exposed side armor. So a very poor call by him. This Object, it is going to be an Object 140. I finally verified that. 140 and 62A look very similar to me, and finally eliminating him. So it's really now just a matter of mopping up the opposing forces and putting that nail in the coffin. It's an enemy T-34. That T-34 has not a snowball's chance. There is nothing he could do, even if every shot he had managed to just detonate ammo racks. His reload is not fast enough. He's going to be overwhelmed by the opposing forces crushing down on him. I mean, fact of the matter is, this is game, set, and match. But at the same time, the enemy team very well fought. Up until the end there, it was anyone's match. And really the deciding factor was that fallback, that medium platoon of Minnow and Never Aim coming back to the base in that time of need to stop the enemy from capturing it after their valley had been completely overrun. And the enemy team doing a solid job overall. I mean, you can't fault them for a well-fought battle. But that will do it, and with that, let's go to those post-game stats. So, earning himself Mastery Badge Ace Tanker, very well done, not too big of a surprise there. High Caliber and Confederate, and I can't remember what his kill count was, mostly because I couldn't see it, but let's see right there. Wow, that's 2 matches in a row where the players I cast almost get that, double combo, that I'm trying to think of what I used to call it, because I used to have a phrase for it, and I'm pretty sure the meds are interfering with that right now. But, just barely missing that Top Gun Confederate combination there, and not too surprising considering he did over 9,000 points of damage. Am I reading that right? Am I sure that's just not my eyes messing with me right now? Seriously, over 9,400 points of damage, just absolutely laying into that enemy team, just relentlessly. I mean, the number of matches I've gotten over 9,000 damage, even in tier 10 vehicles, I can count on one hand. So that is absolutely just amazingly impressive. And, well, certainly earning that experience. That's not a times multiplier or anything. That's not even any extra. He got an action payout. So there is a little bit of buffing to his experience, but still earning a solid amount of credits in a tier 10, mind you. And considering he did have quite a bit of, you know, ammo and repair cost, but I mean, that's not too surprising considering how active he was. 43 shots taken, 91 direct hit. I mean, 91, yeah. 43 shots taken, 91 of those hit directly. So I'm not sure what game I'm playing right now, but yeah, 31 direct hits, 29 penetrations, very, very solid and reliable. Unfortunately, all 5 hits he took for damage, or at least for penetrations of some sort, but still, a good amount of distance travel. That just goes to show how much he was driving around, how he came back to his base in that time of need and took it to the enemy team and stopped his team from probably would have been a capture loss. So medium tanks doing exactly what medium tanks are supposed to do, which is be flexible, be where the team needs that extra push. You know, medium tanks have that mobility. Heavy tanks, not so much. Once they commit to a side of the map, most of the time they have to stay there because any attempt to fall back or relocate to try and flank or anything, well, almost certainly it won't happen fast enough, whereas medium tanks have that extra mobility. So a medium platoon that has good teamwork going is certainly gonna almost appear to be overpowered, and especially when you have just the level of skill displayed here by Never Aim. And let's see how Minnow doing very well for himself as well, over 4,300 damage dealt. So that, I think that scores him as number 2 on his team in damage. Yes, it does. So the top damage dealers between them, over 13,000 damage dealt. Again, I don't even, that's just staggering. But anyway, I'm looking forward to certainly more awesome replays from you guys. Just keep sending them in. But if you like this video, click that like button. If you want to see more, subscribe. And if you've got a replay, be sure to check the description below for instructions on how to submit. And if you have any suggestions on how I can make my channel or my videos better, please put them in the comment section below. But until next time, this has been Spang, and I am signing off.